Good morning. Myself, Dr. B. Sarita, working as Associate Professor in the Department of Civil Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Course code is BCE 081 and the course name is Water and Sewage Conveyance. The topic which I am going to discuss is rainfall data analysis. Under rainfall data analysis, we are going to see the following topics like measurement of rainfall. Under measurement of rainfall, we will be discussing about the various types of rain gauges used to measure the rainfall. And the second topic, calculation or computation of average rainfall over a basin using various methods like arithmetic average method, Thiessen polygon method, and isoheitel method. In measurement of rainfall, you can see how the rainfall is measured, what is the equipment or the arrangement used to measure the rainfall. So simply we can express or calculate the rainfall in terms of depth in centimeters or inches, the rainfall which falls over an area or level surface. So maybe measure in terms of depth in various units like centimeters or inches. And rainfall or precipitation is measured by using the instrument called rain gauge. Usually this rain gauge is a cylindrical vessel assembly or arrangement kept in open place to collect the rainfall or precipitation. So rain gauges are most commonly used mainly for the measurement of precipitation, both in terms of rainfall and snow. Types of rain gauge which are used for measurement of rainfall are the first one non-recording rain gauges and the second one recording rain gauges. So the first type non-recording rain gauges. So this type of rain gauge provide the distribution of amount of precipitation or rainfall in a day. That is, it simply gives the detail about the amount of precipitation in 24 hours. That is a daily precipitation. So commonly used non-recording type of rain gauge is Simon's rain gauge. This type of rain gauge is used by Meteorological Department of Government of India. And here in the diagram you can see the Simon's rain gauge which comes under non-recording rain gauges. So it consists of a metal container in which you have the funnel type arrangement. Funnel and you below the funnel you have the collecting bottle to collect the rainfall and the dimensions of all the funnel then metal container collecting bottle everything are given clearly and the whole assembly or the arrangement is kept fixed on a concrete block. So you can see the picture of this non-recording type rain gauge, that is Simon's rain gauge. Then we can see the second type, that is the recording type of rain gauges. So here this type of rain gauge is otherwise called as self-recording rain gauge because here they record the cumulative rainfall. So in addition to the total amount of rainfall at a station, it gives the time of onset and end of the rainfall or precipitation. That is mainly this type of rain gauge. They give the detail about the duration of the rainfall events since the data is recorded in a sheet, and these rain gauges are otherwise called as self-recording rain gauges, which gives details like the duration, that is onset and the end of the rainfall. We can see the various types of recording rain gauges. So there are three main types of recording rain gauges. The first one is the float type rain gauge and the tipping bucket type rain gauge and weighing type rain gauge. We can see all these recording rain gauges one by one. So first type, that is float type rain gauge. It is a type of automatic rain gauge. Here you have the arrangement like a funnel and a rectangular container, and the container consists of a float which remains connected to a point. For that you can refer the diagram. Here you have the funnel arrangement and you have a rectangular container, and in the container you have the float type arrangement, so which moves based on the amount of precipitation collected in the container. So on the container, the float is connected to a pointer. Here you can see the pointer, pen arm, and you have the recording drum where all the data are recorded, the precipitation data. So here the pointer moves on a recording drum which is kept moving at such a rate that drum completes exactly one revolution in 24 hours. So one revolution in 24 hours. So here the recording drum, it rotates in 24 hours. It completes one revolution. So the float connected to the pen arm, that is the pointer, where it notes down the detail or the amount of the precipitation. So this is the detailed diagram or the picture of this float type rain gauge, a simple arrangement to record the precipitation or rainfall collected. It is automatic rain gauge. It is an automatic. This float type rain gauge is automatic rain gauge. Here we have the funnel and rectangular container, and you have the float which remains connected to the pointer, and the pointer moves over a recording drum which keeps on moving at a rate that the rotating drum completes one revolution in 24 hours. Then next type is the tipping bucket rain gauge. So in this type of rain gauge, here we have a sharp edge receiver. Diagram you can see receiver at the top, and then you have the funnel like arrangement, and below the funnel you have the tipping bucket. So here the tipping bucket, it is connected to an electrical circuit which is connected to a recording device, and at the bottom you have the measuring tube. This is the whole arrangement of the tipping bucket rain gauge. So you can see the arrangement, that is it consists of the sharp edge receiver of diameter 30 centimeter. At the end of this sharp edge receiver, a funnel is provided. So under the funnel, you have a pair of buckets which are pivoted in such a way that when one bucket receives 0.25 mm of rainfall, that is, it discharges its content into reservoir, bringing other bucket under the funnel. So tipping of the bucket, that is tipping of bucket, completes an electrical circuit causing the movement of the pen. Here the pen is attached to the circuit. So the tipping, the bucket is it is connected to the movement, that is pen, and it marks on clock driven revolving drum. So you have a revolving drum which carries a record sheet. The diagram you can see the rotating drum you are having, where you have the record sheet to record the amount of rainfall. So this is the detailed picture about the tipping bucket rain gauge. So here you have the receiver of 30 centimeter dia, and below the receiver you have funnel, and below the funnel you have the tipping bucket. Then once the tipping bucket, it fills, that is up to 0.25 mm of rainfall, it discharges its content into the reservoir, bringing other bucket under the funnel. So this arrangement is connected to the movement of the pen, so which marks all the data on the revolving drum where you have the record sheet. Then we can see the next type of the rain gauge, that is the weighing bucket rain gauge. So this weighing bucket rain gauge, it consists of a receiver bucket. This bucket is supported by a spring or lever balance that you can see in the diagram. So here also you are having the receiving funnel which receives the rainfall, and below the funnel you have the bucket, and this bucket is placed on a spring balance, and the spring balance, it moves based on the weight of the bucket as the precipitation is collected in the bucket, and this spring balance arrangement is connected to the pen which in turn records the data in the revolving drum which has the record chart. So here this revolving drum, it's attached to the clock mechanism. So here in the diagram it is clearly shown. You have a funnel, and below that you have the receiving bucket which is supported on a spring balance or lever balance or any other weighing mechanism, and the movement of the bucket moves downwards due to increase in weight when there is more precipitation, and this movement is transmitted to a pen which traces or which records on a clock driven chart. Very simple arrangement. The whole all the components are placed inside a metal cover. So this is the clear picture of the weighing bucket rain gauge. Then during the measurement of rainfall by using the rain gauges, there are chances to have errors in the measurement or in the measured data. So what are those errors? We can see them. The first one is the instrumental errors, and the second one is error caused in scale reading, and the third one, dents in the receivers, and that is receiving funnel or any other container, and dent in the measuring cylinders, and about 0.25 mm of water is initially required to wet the surface of the gauge. So when the gauge is dry, so it has to be fully wetted. So for that 0.25 mm of water is required, and rain gauges, they splash from the collector. When the precipitation is more or heavy, at that time there is chance of splash of the rain from the collector, and the frictional effects, that is one type of error, and non-verticality of the measuring cylinders. That is when the measuring cylinder is not truly vertical. If there is any inclination, that also leads to the precipitation measurement, that affects the precipitation measurement. That is, for example, 10-degree inclination of the measuring cylinder will give 1.5% less precipitation. So even 10-degree inclination, this gives the data like this, 1.5% less precipitation. And during by evaporation, there is chance of loss of water. And if there is any leakage in the measuring cylinder, that leads to error in the measurement. And the wind speed reduces measurement amount of rain in the rain gauges. So wind speed plays a vital role in making error in the measurement, leading to the error in the measured amount of rainfall using the rain gauge. So these are the various types of errors that may occur during the measurement of rainfall by using the rain gauges. Then we can move on to the computation or calculation of average rainfall over a basin. So mainly to calculate the average rainfall over a basin or any catchment area, the rainfall is measured at a number of rain gauge stations suitably located in that area. And this number of rain gauge station, it depends upon the area and also the distribution of the rainfall over that area. So if a basin or the catchment area contains more than one rain gauge station, then the calculation of the average rainfall can be done by the following methods. So if it is more than one rain gauge station, then we can go by the following methods. That is, the first method is the arithmetic average method, and the second one Thiessen-Polygon method, and third one isoheital method. We can see all these methods one by one. So in all the methods, we use a separate empirical formula to calculate the average rainfall over an area. The first one, arithmetic average method. So this method is used to measure the rainfall over an area by using the rainfall values that is recorded in the rainfall gauge station using the equipment called rain gauge, and it is one of the simplest method used to calculate the average rainfall. That is, arithmetic average method is one of the simplest method, but under one condition, that is, it is applicable only when the basin area is flat. So under this condition, this method is very effective in calculating the average rainfall. And other condition is rainfall should be uniformly distributed over the area. Then we can go for this simplest method called the arithmetic average method. So here, by using this formula, we can calculate the average rainfall over the area. That is, average precipitation is equal to, which is denoted by PAV, is equal to P1 plus P2 plus P3 up to Pn divided by n. That is summation of all the precipitation values. So precipitation values are recorded in all the rain gauge station. That is P1 at place at the rain gauge station 1, P2 at rain gauge station 2. That is precipitation value at rain gauge station 2, and P3 the precipitation value at rain gauge station 3. So up to n number of station, that is rain gauge station, and you can sum up all the precipitation values divided by the number of gauge stations. So that will give you the average amount of rainfall over an area or a basin. So this arithmetic average method is the simplest method. We can use the simple equation like this to calculate the average rainfall over a basin. Coming to the next method of measurement of the rainfall, average rainfall, that is Thiessen-Polygon method. So Thiessen-Polygon method, it is the one of the common method, most commonly used method, that is using the rainfall data falling over an area, that is precipitation values. So the rainfall data which is recorded in particular rain gauge station in particular area. So this is also called as weighted mean method. So this method is a more common method of weighing the rain gauge observation according to the area. So here this Thiessen polygon method, this method is more accurate compared to the arithmetic average method, and the average rainfall can be calculated by using the following expression, that is average precipitation or rainfall over a basin is equal to P1A1 plus P2A2 plus P3A3 plus etc. up to Pn then An, divided by here in the denominator we are using the area, that is A1, the summation of all the areas, that is A1 plus A2 plus A3 up to n number of areas. So this is the simple expression used to calculate the average rainfall over an basin by Thiessen polygon method. So here, what is the procedure followed to use this formula to calculate the average rainfall by using this formula? So here you can see the area and which is divided, that is here you can see the gauge stations at A, B, C and D. So here you have to join the adjacent rain gauge station A, B, C, D by straight lines. Then you can construct the perpendicular bisector for each line. That is, your first step is to connect all the rain gauges by straight line. That is A, B, C, D. These are the rain gauge stations. Then you construct a perpendicular bisector for all the lines. That is, for AB, you construct a perpendicular bisector. Similarly, for BC, you construct a perpendicular bisector. Then DC, you construct a perpendicular bisector. Similarly, for AD, you are constructing a perpendicular bisector. Then you extend the lines so that you are getting a separate area for all the rain gauge stations. That is, for rain gauge station A, you are getting an area, separate area. Similarly, for B and C and D, you will be getting a separate area by drawing perpendicular bisector to all the lines. Then the polygon formed by the perpendicular bisectors around a station encloses an area which is everywhere closer to that station than to any other station. So now then you can find the area of each of these polygons shown by hatching. So you can find out the area of all the areas, that is the shown by hatching, that is all the areas in the polygons. Then multiply the area of each Thiessen polygon by rain gauge value of particular station. So suppose for area, that is rain gauge station A, you have an enclosed area. So find out that area where you have kept the rain gauge, that is at station A. So that area multiplied by the rain gauge value, that is precipitation value recorded in the rain gauge station A. Similarly, for rain gauge station 2, here B is the rain gauge station 2, and here you can find out the area in the rain gauge station 2 and multiply that area by the amount of precipitation recorded in the rain gauge station B. Similarly, for all the stations, you have to calculate the area with the, you have to calculate the area and you have to multiply the area with the amount of precipitation recorded in particular rain gauge station. So up to n number of stations you can do. Divided by, in the denominator, you can add all the areas under consideration. That is rain gauge station kept at area A, then area 2, like that up to n number of areas. So the denominator, you will be finding out the total area of the or summation of the area of the basin. Then we can substitute the value in the given formula, that is average precipitation equal to A1 P1 plus A2 P2 plus up to AN PN divided by A1 plus A2 plus up to AN. So here A1 is the area of the gauge station, that is considering the gauge station 1, and P1 is the recorded amount of precipitation or rainfall at gauge station 1. Similarly, A2 P2 area of gauge station, area surrounding the gauge station 2, and P2 is the amount of rainfall recorded in station 2. So summation of area into precipitation divided by summation of the area will give you the average rainfall over a basin. So these are the steps followed in Thiessen-Polygon method. So here only 4 gauge stations are given, and the whole area is divided into 4. If the area is large and if the gauge station is more than 4, and based on the number of gauge stations, you have to divide the area, the whole area under consideration. So this method is considered as the more accurate method than the arithmetic average method, that is Thiessen-Polygon method. Then we can move on to the last method, that is isoheight method. So what is isoheight? Isoheight is defined as a line on a rainfall map of the basin joining places of equal rainfall readings. So isoheight is a line joining places of equal rainfall readings. So in isoheital map, it shows contours of equal rainfall which is present over an area. It gives the accurate picture of the rainfall distribution over an area. So you can see the contour lines in the isoheital map, and here by using the following expression we can calculate the average rainfall over an area or basin. That is, average precipitation is equal to summation of area into average of P1 plus P2, that is average of P1 P2 divided by summation of the area. So we can see the detailed procedure of this isoheital method to calculate the average precipitation over an area. So here isoheital method, from the rainfall values recorded at various rain gauge stations, you have to prepare a isoheital map. So isoheital map is the map which shows the contour lines having equal rainfall. So using the rainfall data, first you have to prepare the isoheital map. That is how we will get the rainfall values. We can get it from various rain gauge station which is kept at a particular area to record the rainfall, amount of rainfall. And then next step is measure the areas enclosed between successive isoheights with the help of planimeter. So next step is to calculate the area between two isoheights. So once you see the diagram, you can understand. And next step is to multiply each of this area by average rainfall between the isoheights. Then using the formula, you can calculate the average rainfall. So in this diagram, you can see various contour lines like line number, that is having the precipitation amount starting from 10, 11, 12. So the line joining points or places where you have the same rainfall amount. That is contour line 10 means it shows 10, the amount of precipitation 10 in all the places. The contour lines join all the places where you have the same rainfall of amount 10. Then similarly 11 is another contour line. Then 12. Then 13 is another contour line. Then similarly 14. And you can calculate the area. So after seeing, you can calculate the area between two isoheights using planimeter, and you can substitute in this formula. That is, average precipitation of rainfall is equal to summation of the area into average of the precipitation of two isoheights. That is P1 plus P2 by 2 divided by A. That is summation of the area. So here the rainfall values are taken from various rain gauge station, and the isoheightal, that is, you have to prepare the isoheightal map, and the areas, you have to measure the areas between two successive isoheights with the help of planimeter. So here in this diagram, here you have the various contour lines shown. So you have to measure the area between the two successive isoheights with the help of planimeter, and then you have to, next step is to multiply all the areas by the average rainfall between the isoheights, and then you can compute the average rainfall using this formula, that is summation of A into average of the precipitation, that is P1 plus P2 by 2, that is P1 and P2. P1 is the average precipitation in one contour line, that is the area enclosed by two contour lines. So the precipitation of one contour line, that is P1, and P2 precipitation of another isoheight or contour line P2. So you have to take the average and you have to multiply with the area, and the denominator you have to sum up all the area under consideration. By this method we can calculate or compute the average rainfall over a basin. With this I'll finish. Thank you.